Hello students, so today we will continue from where we have left in the previous video. So in the previous video we were discussing about the difference between compounds and mixture. So this we have already completed. So next we will go to the next part, that is the type of mixtures. So today we will know how many types of mixtures are there and how we can separate them, that is the method of separation. So first type of the mixture is solid mixture. So solid mixture is such a mixture where two or more solids will be mixed. Okay, so in this type of mixture two or more solids are mixed. So the first method which we can use is sublimation. By sublimation we can separate, but one condition is there. What is the condition? That in that mixture the components should be, one should be sublimable and another one should be non-sublimable. Okay, one should be sublimable and another one should be non-sublimable. So you see here ammonium chloride is a sublimable substance, but sodium chloride is a non-sublimable substance. So if a sublimable and a non-sublimable mix with each other, then we can call it as a, then we can separate the mixture by using the method called as sublimation. Okay, so next, so you have to remember that sublimation can be used if the sublimable substance or one sublimable and one non-sublimable substances are mixed with each other. Now what is sublimable substance? Sublimable substances are those substances which from solid, when they are heated from solid state, they directly go to gaseous state without going to liquid state. Okay, next method is magnetic separation. So we can use magnetic separation technique. That is, what happen in this? So one substance will be magnetic and another one will be non-magnetic. Magnetic means which will be attracted by the magnet. For example, iron. So iron is a magnetic substance, but if iron is mixed with sulfur, sulfur is a non-magnetic substance. So if we bring a magnet near the mixture, all the magnetic substances will get attracted by the magnet. Okay, so by this we can separate the mixture, and what will be left behind? The non-magnetic substance. Next method is solvent extraction. So what is solvent extraction, students? So we have to remember that solvent extraction method can be used if there is a soluble solid and a insoluble solid. Now what is soluble? Soluble means which can dissolve in a particular solvent, and insoluble solid means which will not dissolve in that particular solvent. Suppose here we have taken the example of sulfur and charcoal. So sulfur and charcoal, if they are mixed with each other, then we will use a solvent, that is carbon disulfide. Okay, now carbon disulfide is such a solvent in which sulfur will dissolve but the carbon, that is the charcoal, will not dissolve. So we can separate them very easily. Okay, or we can take another example, students. Suppose we will take the example of sand and common salt. Suppose sand and common salt are mixed together. Now if we want to separate, how we can separate? We will dissolve both the mixture in water. Then what will happen? The common salt will dissolve in water, but the sand will not dissolve. So this type of mixture can be separated by solvent extraction. Okay, so next method is fractional crystallization. So what is a fractional crystallization? So if a soluble solid and another soluble solid both are mixed. Now suppose one is insoluble, another one is soluble, then we can use solvent extraction. But if both are soluble, then what we can use? We will use fractional crystallization method. How to do that? Suppose here we have the two components are potassium nitrate and potassium chlorate. Now both these are soluble in a particular solvent, so both will be dissolved in water and then we will crystallize it, and if we crystallize it, then we will get potassium nitrate and potassium chloride. We can separate them very easily. Next one is, now we will see what are how to separate the solid liquid mixture. So solid liquid mixture means what? One component will be solid and another one will be liquid. So one will be insoluble solid and another one from the liquid component. So you have to remember that if a insoluble solid and a liquid component are mixed, so it should be insoluble, then only we can use this method called as filtration. So in filtration what happens? We separate the insoluble solid from the liquid by using a mesh or by using a membrane. Okay, so insoluble solid in this method what happen? Insoluble solid being filtered out using filter paper. For example, you can see calcium carbonate, okay, which is insoluble in water. So when it is filtered out, then calcium carbonate is remains on the filter. Students, in your kitchen your mother also used the same technique, filtration technique. Can you tell for what purpose she used this filtration technique? Yes, you are right, for making tea. For making tea your mother used the same method, right? Next we will see sedimentation method. So what is sedimentation method? In sedimentation method what happened? The insoluble solid, okay, there will be one insoluble solid and there will be one liquid component, okay, like sand and water. So what happened here? The insoluble solid settling down due to sedimentation. Okay students, so what is the difference between filtration and sedimentation? In filtration what happened? The insoluble solid doesn't settle down, but in sedimentation the insoluble solid settles down. For example, sand and water. So if you take water, suppose this is water, okay, and we have taken some sand. Now suppose this is the sand particles. So after some time what happened? The sand particles settle down. So this method will be called as sedimentation. Clear? But in case of calcium carbonate, in calcium carbonate what happens? Suppose we take water and if you take calcium carbonate particles, the calcium carbonate particles float in the water. Yes, they do not settle down. Calcium carbonate do not settle down. Calcium carbonate do not settle down, but the sand settle down. That is why if it settle down, then we can use, if it settle down, then we can use the sedimentation technique. But if doesn't settle down, then we will use filtration technique. Okay. Next method is evaporation. So what happens in evaporation? So in evaporation we take one soluble solid from the liquid component. That means if a soluble solid is dissolved in a liquid component, then we can separate by using the method called as evaporation. Okay, for example, you can take sodium chloride, that is common salt, and water. So if sodium chloride is mixed with water, then what happens? How to separate it? We will evaporate the water. So evaporation of liquid component leaving behind the solid. Okay, so NaCl dissolves in water. On evaporation, it can be recovered in evaporating dish. Next method is distillation. So distillation method is used if there is a soluble solid from a liquid component. Okay, but here we have to separate the liquid. So remember students, in evaporation we want solid. So solid is separated. Solid is separated, but liquid escape. But in distillation, liquid is collected. Liquid is collected. Understood? That means if we dissolve salt in water and if we do evaporation, we will get only salt. But if we do distillation, we will get the water also. Clear? So what happens in this? Here the liquid component evaporates and recondenses and solid remains. So we get liquid also, means we recondense the vapor. That means we cool down the vapor. So recondenses means cooling down the vapor to get the liquid. Example is sodium chloride remains in distillation flask and water collected in the receiver after condensation. Let us see some more types of mixtures. The next one is liquid mixture. So let us see how to separate the liquid mixture. So now students, remember that liquid mixture can be of two types. One is if the liquid mix with each other, then we called it as a immiscible liquids, and if the liquid mixed with each other, then we called it as a miscible liquid. For example, if you take the example of water and alcohol, okay, water and alcohol is a miscible mixture. Miscible mixture means they mix with each other very easily. But if you take water plus alcohol, water plus oil, then they do not mix, so it is called immiscible liquid. So immiscible liquid means the liquid which do not mix with each other are called as immiscible liquid, and miscible liquid, the liquid which mix with each other, are called as miscible mixture or miscible liquid. Okay. Now if two immiscible liquids are there, so here we have taken the example of oil and water. Now you see, out of oil, the oil is lighter and the water is heavier. So both are immiscible, they do not mix with each other. But out of that, one is lighter, one is heavier. So what we do? We use the method called as separating funnel. Okay. So in separating funnel, what happens? We settle the mixture for some time. Then what happens? The lighter liquid start floating on the top, and the heavier liquid comes to the bottom, and we separate the water from the bottom very easily. Okay. Next we will see the fractional distillation. So in fractional distillation, what kind of mixtures are separated? So here you separate two miscible liquids, means now they both are mixed together. Now we cannot use separating funnel. Why? Because in separating funnel, they do not mix with each other, so they settle down. Heavier one goes down, lighter one goes to top. But in fractional distillation, what happens? Both are miscible, so we cannot separate by separating funnel. So what we do? We will use fractional distillation method. So here what happens? There two liquid are having different boiling point. Okay. So here if you take the example of alcohol and water, so alcohol is having low boiling point and water is having high boiling point. So due to which what happens? Alcohol evaporates faster than the water. So first alcohol is collected in the receiver, and afterwards when water starts boiling, then water is also collected or water remains in the distillation flask. So like this we can separate them. Next one is liquid gas mixture. So how to separate liquid gas mixture? Okay. So we will take the example. So liquid gas mixture can be separated by boiling the liquid gas mixture. If we boil, then the gas will separate out from the liquid. So we have taken the example of carbon dioxide and water. So we know that carbon dioxide can dissolve in water. Now in the water chapter we have discussed about, in higher classes we will read about that solubility, how does it depends on temperature. So now just you remember that the solubility of a gas in a liquid increase in temperature of the liquid. Okay, that means if the temperature will increase, then the solubility will decrease. Remember that. Okay, if the temperature increases, then the solubility of gas in liquid decreases. So solubility of gas in liquid decrease when temperature increase. Okay. So if we boil the water, then what will happen? If we boil the water, then the carbon dioxide escape out from the water on boiling. So like this we can separate the mixture. Next we will see gas mixture. So how to separate gas mixture? Very simple. So in gas mixture what happens, students? We will separate them by diffusion. So in gas one will be lighter gas and one will be heavier gas. Suppose we take the example of mixture of hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Students, I am talking about mixture. I am not talking about water where hydrogen and oxygen are chemically combined. But in mixture, hydrogen and oxygen are physically combined. They just mix with each other. They do not react with each other. Okay. So this can be done by passing the mixture through a porous partition. If we pass the mixture through a porous partition, then what happens? The lighter gas, that is the hydrogen, diffuses more rapidly, means more quickly it will pass through the porous partition, and oxygen, which is heavier gas, will diffuses less rapidly on passage through the same. So it will be, so here what happens, the mixture of the gas is passed through a porous partition. That means a pipe which is having very small pores, and if you pass the mixture through that, then first oxygen will escape, sorry, first hydrogen will escape because it is lighter, and later on oxygen will escape. Next we will see how to separate a soluble gas component and an insoluble gas component. Suppose two gases are mixed and one is soluble and another one is insoluble. Then we will use the method solubility in solvent. Suppose example, hydrogen chloride gas and nitrogen gas. Now out of this, hydrogen chloride is soluble in water, highly soluble in water, but nitrogen is not soluble in water. Okay, very less solubility. So what we will do, we will take the mixture and we will pass it through the water. Okay, so when you pass the mixture through the water, then what happens? The highly soluble gas, that is hydrogen chloride, dissolves in water, and nitrogen, which is almost insoluble, is bubbles out of the solvent. Okay, so dissolved gas in water expelled by boiling. Now afterwards we can separate the dissolved gas by boiling. Okay, next this one, complex mixtures, that is the chromatography. Let us see. So complex mixture can also be separated. So we will see what is chromatography. So what is chromatography, students? So chromatography is the method used to separate the mixture of different solid constituents of a liquid constituent. So if in a liquid more than two solids are mixed, then you can separate by the method of chromatography. Next method is centrifugation. What happens in centrifugation? So separation of mixture using a centrifugal force. Okay, force exerted by revolving the object. So centrifugation we will read in details afterwards. Okay, now let us see some detailed explanation how we can separate a particular mixture. Suppose we are given two mixtures, A and B. Okay, now out of A, that is ammonium chloride, is sublimable, it is sublimable, and B is sodium chloride, which is non-sublimable. Now if one is sublimable, another one is non-sublimable, then how we can separate this? We can separate them by using sublimation technique, right? Okay, so next we will see that how to do it. Okay, let us understand the process in detail. So first A and B will be taken in a evaporating dish. So this is a evaporating dish. This one is evaporating dish. We will take the mixture in this and we will cover it with a separating funnel. We will cover the mixture with a funnel, and here we will put some cotton. Some cotton will be kept so that nothing will escape from it. Now we will heat after some time and we will cool it. So when you cool it, what happened? In from the mixture, the sublimable solid will evaporate or it will sublime, and it will go to the top and get deposited. You see here the sublimable substances got deposited, that is ammonium chloride or whatever, any sublimable solid. So you have taken the name as A. So A will get deposited on the funnel, and what will be remaining? Here the B will be remaining, correct? So here B will be remaining, which is non-sublimable solid. Next we will see magnetic separation. Suppose in magnetic separation, one will be magnetic solid and another one will be non-magnetic solid. Let it be A and B. Now for example, we have taken A is the iron and B is the sulfur. Now if A and B are mixed together, after mixing we will bring a magnet near it, and we bring the magnet, what happens? The sublimable solid will stick to it. Okay, so all the sublimable solid will mixed to it. So all these are, sorry, not sublimable, sorry, magnetic substance will stick to the magnet, that is the A, or we can say it is our iron. So iron will get attracted towards the magnet, and what will remain? Remaining will be the non-magnetic substance, that is the sulfur. So this is the non-magnetic substance, which is the sulfur, or we can say B, okay, which will remain in the dish. Next, let us see what is solvent extraction. So in solvent extraction, we have taken the we will give them the name A and B. So A is what? Soluble solid, and B is the insoluble solid. For example, we have taken here sulfur. So sulfur is our A, and charcoal or carbon is our B. Now A and B will be mixed together, and they will be dissolved in a solvent where one of the substance is dissolved. So remember student, in this solvent both should not dissolve, and both should also, if both dissolve, then also we cannot take the solvent. If both does not dissolve, then also we cannot take the solvent. We have to take the solvent where only one substance should dissolve. We have taken the solvent, that is carbon disulfide. We have taken carbon disulfide solvent. So here nothing but carbon disulfide. This solvent is carbon disulfide. Now after mixing it thoroughly, we will see that one substance has dissolved, that is the A has dissolved in the solvent, and B will be floating on it. So what we will do? We will first separate it. So first we will filter it, and after filtering, what happens? Here the solvent will be containing A, and on the filter paper what will be remaining? B will be remaining, and we will evaporate the filtrate. When we evaporate the filtered solution, then what happened? So A can be separated by slow evaporation of filtered solution. So if we evaporate it, we will get A, and from the filter paper we can get the B. Clear students? Next we will take fractional crystallization. So fractional crystallization. So here we have to understand that A is what? A is our what? Sulfur, and B is charcoal. So sulfur will be separated by evaporation, and charcoal will be remaining on the filter paper. Next is fractional crystallization. So what happened in fractional crystallization? We have taken the example of, so here also we will give the soluble solid will be given name A, and the another soluble solid will be given name B. So we have taken the example of potassium nitrate and potassium chlorate, which is more soluble, potassium nitrate, and potassium chlorate is less soluble. Now both A and B will be mixed in the water, okay, and will make a hot saturated solution. Yes, we will make a hot saturated solution, and then we will cool the hot saturated solution. So while cooling, what happens? The less soluble A will crystallize out first. So first what we will get? The less soluble salt, okay, and after taking out the A, what will be remaining? B will be remaining in that, that is potassium chlorate will be remaining. Now potassium chlorate will be separated by what? By again we will make a hot saturated solution, and again we will recrystallize from the hot water and dry it. So less soluble will be filtered out from it. So first we will get the A crystals, we will separate it from it by using filter, and then again we will heat it to make it a super saturated solution, and then again we will cool it. So we will get the B crystals also, which is more soluble. So like that we can separate both the crystals. Next we will see separation of mixture, that is solid liquid mixture. Now suppose the solid will be named as A and the liquid component will be named as B. So example, calcium carbonate is our A and water will be our B. Now we know that here it is insoluble, means it will not dissolve. If it will not dissolve, what to do? Very simple, just we will do filtration. What we will do? We will filter the mixture by using a filter paper and a funnel. So what will happen? In the beaker, the liquid will pass through the filter paper, and what will remain in the filter paper? The solid, insoluble solid will remain in the filter paper. So like this we can separate solid and liquid both. Next we will see sedimentation. So what happens in sedimentation? In sedimentation also one insoluble liquid and one liquid component, but the insoluble solid is here heavier like sand and water. Okay, so here also we will suppose first we will make the mixture A and B, okay, and then we will allow it to settle down for some time. After some time what will happen? The A will settle down, that is the sand will settle down and liquid will on the top level, and then we will decant it. Decant means what? Slowly the liquid will be poured out. That is called decantation. What is it called? Decantation. Decantation means the liquid separated very slowly, it is poured out. Next we will see evaporation. So here components are A and B. For example, sodium chloride is our A and water is our B, but here it is soluble solid. Yes, it is soluble. So what we will do? We will use the method evaporation. So what we will do? We will take the mixture in a evaporating dish and then we will keep it for sand bath. What is sand bath, students? We will not heat directly. We will heat it by keeping it on the sand. Okay. Now, so that if we will not if we will do direct heating, then the substance may decompose. Means it can react. Okay, or it will change into some other substance. And also the substance may spurt out. Means it will come out. Okay. So after some time what will happen? After slow evaporation, the evaporating dish is recovered on evaporation of the solution. So we can get the first substance solid A and the liquid will be lost as water vapor. So liquid will be lost. Okay, here will be lost the liquid in evaporation method. But if you want to get the liquid, then you will use the second method, that is distillation. So what happens in distillation? Here one is soluble solid A and the liquid component B. Here also it is soluble, but here you can get the liquid. Okay, so means here we want the liquid, here we don't want to lose the liquid, that is the water. So lead nitrate is the impurity in water. Now if we want to purify the water, we want to get the pure water, what we will do? We will do distillation method. Now this is called as a distillation flask. Okay, let us observe it more clearly. So here you see this is called as a distillation flask, okay, which is named as X, and here the mixture A plus B is given and it is boiled very slowly. Okay, now after some time the liquid will start evaporating, that is the water will start evaporating. Then the water will be passed through a receiver, passed through a condenser. It is called as a condenser. Okay, now what is condenser? In condenser, from one side cold water will be flowed. So cold water will be entering and through this pipe water will be passing. Okay, now around the water cold water will be running. So around the water cold water will be circulating and will come out through this. So cold water will enter from this and come out from this, and from inside one pipe will be there. From through that, when that water vapor will pass, it will cool down and it will convert to pure water and it will be collected in the receiver. So this is called as the receiver. Okay, this is the receiver, this is the flask, this is called condenser. Clear, students? Now inside the flask we will get pure water. Okay, pure water will fall down and will collect it. So A will be collected in the receiver. This is called as the this is the flask. So inside the flask A will be there, that is the insoluble solid. Inside the flask what will be there? Insoluble solid will be, not insoluble, students, it will be actually soluble solid. So soluble solid will be present in that, and inside the receiver the pure liquid will be formed, or pure water will be collected. Pure water, or we can say pure liquid, will be collected. Clear, students? Let us go to the next part, that is separation of liquid-liquid mixture. So here we will take the example of immiscible liquid. So immiscible liquid, one liquid is A and the lighter liquid is considered as A, named as A, and the heavier liquid is named as B. So we will take the example of oil and water. So oil is our A and water is our B. Now this mixture is taken in a separating funnel. Yes, this is called as separating funnel. Now inside this funnel, when this mixture is kept in the funnel and it is kept still for some time, then what happens? The water, so here you see the A, that is the lighter liquid, is deposited. Yes, here you see the lighter liquid, A is the lighter liquid, that is oil, is collected on the top, and at the bottom what is there? Heavier liquid is there at the bottom, that is water. So afterwards what happens? We will hear one knob is there. See, this knob is here. If you open the knob, then the liquid start flowing through it. Okay. So if you open the knob, then what happens? Water comes out, or the heavier liquid comes out, that is B, is collected in the flask. And here what is remaining? A is remaining. So this is our A and here is our B. Clear, students? Understood? Now let us see what is distillation. Okay. So what happened in distillation? Fractional distillation. In fractional distillation, we take both are miscible. Here what? Oil and water are immiscible, but here both are miscible. Okay, sir. Low boiling point liquid is named as A and the high boiling point liquid is named as B. So low boiling point is alcohol. So let alcohol be our A or methyl alcohol and water be our B. Now this mixture is taken in a, this is called as distillating flask. Okay, so it is called fractional distillator or fractional distillator flask. Okay, now in this, let us zoom it. So here what happens? Both the mixture is taken in this flask and it is heated. So when it will be heated, then what happens? The lower boiling point liquid will boils first. So first who will boil? Whose boiling point is lower, that is the alcohol. So methyl alcohol will boil fast. Okay, and then it will, the vapor will pass through this and again it will pass through the condenser. I told you what is the work of condenser? Condenser cools the vapor. So the vapor cools down and here we will get what? We will get alcohol. We will get methyl alcohol. Now after the alcohol is boiled, what will be remaining? Of course water will be remaining. So what is remaining here? Here water will be remaining. Okay, and what is collected here? Here methyl alcohol is collected. Understood, students? Let us go to the next one. Next one is chromatography. Okay. So chromatography technique, here suppose more than two solid substances are present in the liquid. Now how to do that? So we will give them the name A, B, C, D and the liquid constituent is ink. Yes, in a ink many liquids are mixed. Okay. So we will separate it by using a adsorbent medium, that is called as filter paper. Now in this process what is done? So first of all we will place a ink spot on the containing different solid constituents, that is the dyes, on the filter paper. So in the filter paper different solid constituents will be there and there we will put a ink spot. Now that ink spot will be kept in the liquid, in the solvent, and then we will see that slowly the separate spots will be made on the plate. Okay, so what happened? The filter paper is hung with its lower end completely dipped in the solvent. So the lower end will be completely dipped in the solvent. Then after some time what happened? The solvent flows over the ink spot and the solid constituents, dyes, okay, separate out as shown. So from this ink spot all the separate constituents will flow out and it will be formed in the paper. Next is centrifugation. What happens in centrifugation? Students, here two types of components are there. One will be more dense, means it will be more heavy, and another will be less dense, so less heavy. For example, we want to separate the cream from the milk. So cream is less dense and milk is more dense. Sorry, cream is more dense and milk is less dense. So what happens when? So in this method, one machine is used which is called a centrifuge, okay, or it is called, and here centrifugal force is used. So how centrifugal force is used? So whenever anything is rotated with a very heavy speed, then what happens? The heavier things go separate from the lighter things. You might have gone for a blood test, and there you will see this machine kept in the blood test clinic, and when they rotate the machine, what happens? All the suppose your blood need to be tested, the bacteria and virus present need to be tested. So what they do? They will do this centrifuge, and what happens? The bacteria and the viruses will get separated. See, these are all the bacteria and viruses separated from the blood sample, and by that it can be known very easily. Okay, this is called centrifugal machine. Student, same method is used in washing machine. So in washing machine, what happens? So basically in washing machine, your mother used to dry the clothes. So what happens? So whenever you in the washing machine, one pot will be there, and in that pot there will be some small pores will be there in the pot, right? Now through those pores, so like this the washing machine dryer pot looks, correct? Now inside that water, clothes are kept, all these clothes are kept inside that, wet clothes are kept, okay? Now when it is rotated very high speed, then what happens? The water present in that, water is heavier than the cloth, so water drops are collected at the end due to centrifugal force, okay? Water is collected at the end and the water are pushed through the pores. So water is pushed through the pores, and like this our clothes become dry. So here what is used? Centrifugal force is used. So what this force does? It just shifts the heavier things to the outer side, So here water is heavier, so it is thrown towards the outer side. So students, like this we have completed this chapter 3. So you complete the exercise, and if you get any doubt in the exercise, you can text me in the WhatsApp or in the Google Classroom. Okay, bye bye students.